over a major chord, or like a major seventh chord. This is a way that you can create an interesting tension and release type feeling without doing something that would be a little bit more straightforward. So this feels a little bit more surprising. And here's what we're going to do, and I promise I'll give you some demonstrations here. Play in such a way that the melody note in your right hand is the top note of a diminished major seventh chord, and then resolve the tension notes more into the chord. You can do that in a couple different ways depending on exactly what you want. That's pretty much it. It doesn't always work with every single note, but it's surprising how often it sounds good, at least to me. So again, we're going to use a diminished major seventh chord, and the top note of that shape will be the melody note, and then we'll resolve it. Let me go ahead and demonstrate really quick. So for anybody who doesn't know, a diminished major seventh chord is a sort of an uncommon but really neat chord, and it's made of a diminished triad with a major seventh on top. So that's like 1, flat 3, flat 5, and then a major 7. So a C diminished major seventh chord would be C, E flat, G flat, and B. There's that chord. So now in that case, B is the top note. So what I'm suggesting is you can just kind of play around with this, but use that shape transposed however you need to make it to where the top note is your melody note. So for example, you're playing around in C, and let's say if your melody goes just C, D, E. Instead of just like that, on that E note, I'm going to use a diminished major 7. Now to make it work, I'm actually going to use F diminished major 7, and it becomes like this. So I'm resolving F diminished major 7 to like an F to a C major 7, all with C in the bass. In this case, I've moved my F down to E, and I moved an A flat down to G. So that's what would happen if the melody note was on the 3rd. What if it was on the 2nd? You can do it there too. And when you do the math, it works out that you would use an E flat diminished major 7, and it works like this. Pretty cool sound. Or I could put the melody on the 5th, on the G. To make that work, I would use an A flat diminished major 7. Something like that. You can do it on the 6th, on the A. It has a bit of a different sound, but it's still all right. Something like, instead of just C, something like, that one's not my favorite, but it can work. That would be like a B flat diminished major 7 that then resolves over. I like it when the melody's on the major 7th. That's a really nice sound. You would use C diminished major 7 to like C major. That's a really, really nice sound. Let's see. So I'm going out of order here. I wouldn't do it on the root. It doesn't sound as good, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you would end up using D flat major 7, D flat diminished major 7, resolving, and that's sort of a tense sound there. But still, it works if you're on the 9th or the 2, on the 3, on the 5, 6, and 7. 4 being a tense note over a major chord anyway, it has sort of an unusual sound. You'd have to use, what would that be? That would be F sharp diminished major 7, which also has an unusual sound, like, but I mean, being on the 4th scale degree anyway, that's not likely to be a consonant sound in the first place. But anyway, there you go. If you're on a major chord and your melody is on the 9 or the 2, 3, 5, 6, or 7, you can use that little trick just to kind of break up what would otherwise be a more expected kind of progression. Like if I did a 2, 5, 1, rather than this, I can do this. And there's just that extra tension, Or instead of this, I can do this. And so on. Well, there you have it. Just a neat little technique to kind of brighten up your playing. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. Y'all have a good day. See ya.